What's up, guys? Well, so I was laid off on March 13th, which was the lunar eclipse day. They say that that's a day that it signifies that a door is closing and another one opens, right? Honestly, I did not want this to happen, as we all don't. I did expect it to happen, though. Why did I expect it to happen? Well, one, because there was rumors since February 20th that there was going to be a mass layoff in Raytheon Technologies on March 10th. And so I kind of already expected it. And why did I expect it from me? Well, my position specifically, I was not bringing any value into the organization for the past 2 years, and it wasn't, I did everything that the management asked me to do. Any task that my manager put me to do, I would do. However, didn't mean that that was bringing value to the organization itself. My manager moved on to a different group, and then the new manager that replaced her did management for a few months and then retired. Then I was left with no manager for a few months. Which meant there was a problem that people were trying to attack and they couldn't answer it, right? So how the hell was I going to display any value if I wasn't in any kind of management world, right? With having objectives, right? It's important to have objectives, right? Because your organization is going into one location, right? To one direction. Your senior leadership will put that, and then your management is to their management will make objectives, right? But they kept on changing, and so the manager underneath those directors really didn't know what to do or how to do the implementation. And how do you track? No KPIs. We have no KPIs at all, right? Everything that I did always was being told, you're doing a great job. I received so many awards, extra money and bonuses because of the work that I did, right? So, and then when I got laid off, which was done by the director told me that this wasn't because of performance, right? Just to be clear, it wasn't because of performance. And I would love to believe that, but I know it was because of performance, and it wasn't because of my directed performance, but it was because of my positions of performance. And I think this is probably a new subgenre of a category. It's due to whatever the job role was not going to ever give you performance that was going to bring value to the organization. So that's my conclusion, and that's why I feel the way that I feel. Right, but it doesn't take away from my regular emotions to why wasn't I back from the director? Why wasn't, I saved, in other words. And so that does bring hate, that does bring regret, and you start to go into the spiral. And I wanted to step out of that and remind myself that, yes, you could have taken different actions. One, you could always go to the senior leadership and say what your concerns are, but that's always risky. Second, you can go straight to your management, but that's also very risky. And the third thing that you can do is move yourself internally. I made the decision to do none, and I just said I was going to ride the wave. Unfortunately, I rode the wave to the dirt. I don't want to say to the beach or shore. I made it to the sand, but dirt sand. It's a wave of a lake that leads you somewhere to where you're stepping on clay in the middle of nowhere. That's where I rode the wave to and got laid off. Now, for the past 3 days, the first day I cried. I sat down and broke down and cried because I felt like a failure. To my parents, to my wife, to my son, to myself. Because I could have made it out alive, right? But I made it to the end, right? Unfortunately, this is not your life that you're taking, right? But you're able to restart. But this does affect everything about you, about me. But the first thing that you should do is definitely grieve the fact that you went through this layoff. To, yes, think about your takeaways. What can you take away? What could you improve in yourself? Whether if you're someone that does too much or does nothing, or is always saying yes to irrelevant tasks, or if you're too detail specific and you're never getting actions done, if you are always showing your cards to people and they take advantage of that and claim victory with their name on it other than yours, and take credit for your work, these are all things that you could improve on, right? Then you have to go into the planning phase, right? Where you have to start to think financially, how am I going to support myself? And this is where the whole timing comes in, right? How much time am I going to give? Well, the answer is you don't have an option, right? ASAP is always the answer, right? But that is always going to be where I'm thinking, what does ASAP, what can that actually turn out to be, and what is going to be filled within that time period of now till then, right? And that's when I made a schedule. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure that physically I'm well. So I'm going to drop off my son, go to the gym right after, and spend more time than I usually would do. And while I'm there, I'm going to reflect on trying to actually take this moment to where my body is going to say it's okay to not be tense, right? It's okay to be safe. This is a safe moment, so it's okay to be calm, right? Else you're gonna have all this tension built up. You're going to be extremely anxious, and we need to release that. We need to ensure to ourselves that this is a safe environment. So making sure that you're mentally and physically well, step one. And then when I'm going home, I'm going to focus on improving my resume, improving my brand, right? You as a person, you need to work on your brand, right? One thing that you should always do, obviously improve your resume, utilize AI, ChatGPT, or resume builders. Then the next thing to really focus on is the context, right? You want to make sure that you have a story to tell. And what is the story that you're going to tell? And you're going to focus on 7 key points in which they're going to show your character. And I'm not talking in all levels, right? But mostly I'm talking about a professional character, right? What makes you that problem solver? Show examples and tell stories about that problem solving. Tell problems about your communication issues that you had, and how did you evolve, and how do you continue to implement that within the teams, right? Talk about how you do analysis. Talk about performance things that you've improved, dashboards that you worked on. Talk about all these things and make that a story. You have to make 7 key points, and you're going to talk about these things for the rest, and you're going to improve that for the next couple of months until you get the job. That's what's going to be filled in from the time from now till then, right? And that's one critical thing that we need to work on, because of course ChatGPT and these AIs are going to create these beautiful resumes, but when you have these conversations, are they going to be real, right? And is what your examples going to be like, man, this person is going to be a good good person for this role. They fit it well. And that's what you want to answer. And you're not going to be able to have ChatGPT answer that for you, right? Because that authenticity can never be programmed. And they could categorize it and label it, and they could attempt to replicate it. But true authenticity, that's something that you need to work on, and that's your brand. That is you, right? So I could go on this for a while, but that's what I realized today. This is my first Monday after being laid off, and exactly what I did. I took the first 2 days to grieve, to eat whatever I wanted, to literally eat whatever I wanted. I think I ate everything I saw. And today I said, no, I'm going back onto my calorie deficit. I'm going to exercise, and I'm going to take this and build my brand. And then I'm going to focus on marketing. I only applied to 4 jobs, right, today. And that's a low quantity. But the direction that I'm taking right now is I want to focus on quality over quantity, right? Because I feel if I am very detailed in every single application, in every single cover letter, in every single bullet point within the cover letter or within the resume that is specifically tailored for that position, and a story can be told. If I get called up on to do an interview for that specific job, I'm going to be able to tell it. That is what I'm working on. And by the end of this, I'm going to know myself so much more than I ever knew myself, right? And I'm going to try to keep that apart from the main factor, which is you need to hurry up and get a job, right? Before your money runs out, right? And me, I'm living in another country, right? Where my dollar extends and allows me to live longer with whatever I have, right? With whatever money I have saved. And if you don't, well, then you have to do whatever it is that you have to do. If it is going living with your parents, if it is going to downsize, whatever the case may be, do it temporarily up to whenever you get your job, right? Whether it's 3 months, whether it's a year, don't put a timeline on this, because you're about to try to go out and go against hundreds of thousands of people for a specific job role that fits you. And I promise you, there is that job role that fits you, right? And if there is no job opportunities in what you do, then take this and identify that risk right away. And how do you mitigate this risk, guys? You go and train. You train and you learn and you improve, right? You get that certification, you get that experience, and you put it into practice. And one second. And that's it. You get the certification. You do what you have to do to get to the next level, right? And perhaps there'll be another door that you open for jobs. It doesn't end here. And we have to be excited. This is an opportunity. I got laid off March 13th, the day of the eclipse, which means one thing closes and another one opens. So here we are. Let's go search for that damn door together. Good luck.